Yeah, so we're sorry, we're back with part two. Thank you once again, all the viewers, and bless you all belovedly, and have a soul purposeful life purpose journey, soul flowing out through this life in general. All praise to I am Asa'YAH, the creator of my ancestor, the Hebrews, and shout out to one of the ancestors, Asa'YAH, the greatest ancestor in general, salvation of life. But this topic basically breaking bread. Remember, the thought is sharp conscious and unconscious. And what flows in is what flows out. And what flows out is surely what flows in. Remember them things right there. Them morals right there. Them virtues. But this topic basically is titled, kind of looking through the list here. Basically topic is know thyself soulfully, mindfully, virtuously, forgive me, and know thy form behind the flesh and blood. Because when we take a moment and think about that, you know, for example, I'm sure a lot of temples encounter this in this life form here, life formation life, but we met different temples, meaning we met different natural pieces of creation. Some sort of reason, it's like within the conversation or within their presence, these temples picked up a sensor in the temple sensitivities, and they read it like kind of like a barcode reader, like, yo, you're not basically like on earth in a sense, you know, not saying you're not into, you know, what life is about, but you surely ain't talking like the regular conformity of society speaks on. And that's when you know that, you know what I'm saying, that temple you're communicating to, conversing with, breaking bread with, that's just a sign to say, dang, you're getting to know yourself. Because at the end of the day, guess what? It's a quote that say, you know, you attract your soul tribes. And you got to take a moment and think about that. For example, I remember when Yahushua said in a specific passage of scripture in a biblical history literature book, the Bible, the scriptures. And I remember one time when Yahushua said specifically to Kepha, Peter, that's his name in Hebrew, and he said, yo, who do they say I am? And it was kind of interesting because out of everybody, Peter said, well, you know, Kepha replied, well, you are the son of I am. You are the son of Eyez. You are the son of Yahuwah. You are the son of God. And it was interesting how Yahushua replied back to Peter. He said, only way you know that is by means of the Spirit, the Ruach, reveal that within you. Now you got to ask yourself a serious question. Like, that's kind of interesting, right? Yahushua should have met the Messiah walking amongst the earth. And I mean, he could have been like, well, who did he say? You know, he asked a simple question, but it was seeming in that question, he was actually looking for waiting for a response that was something way more deeper than what was usually going to be said. Because they could have said, well, you a man, you a male. You know, you're a human, you're a natural piece of creation. But that wasn't the answer he was the son of Most High was looking for. And I want to say this into our natural temples. See, once we start to tune in and go deep into the soul. Now, we can't personally do no surgery like the doctors do and kind of put ourselves back into the temple and go through that whole entire that creation process. Or we can't even go back way, way, way back and being of creation, not just man now, but and be like, hey, I want to find this information, I can find it there. But the beautiful thing about the soul is that in the soul, there's so much revelation. There's so much inciting. There's so much understanding. But the thing is, when it comes down to getting to know thyself, is that when we go through these shedding processes, it's kind of like, for example, in nature, like a butterfly, or like even a monarch. You go through a shedding process. And the more these temples continue to shed, now the shedding process is not you actually getting a razor and cutting yourself. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to far as the creator, the higher power within the soul is breaking every single bond, every single yoke that we have become so attached and so used to and comfortable with society that I am, the creator, all by means has to literally break it off. Has to literally shed the old skin. And the shedding process is basically what it is that it's the specific shedding the old conscience, shedding the old mindset, shedding the old patterns of the heart, and doing a whole new reconstruction process. Basically going from a birth to a reborn to a death, and then another process to a transfiguration. See, this is very unique in the soul. And a lot of temples, and just be honest with you, want to go so deep into the soul, but all they want to do is collect what? Collect data. just like this technology is. They want to collect information. They don't want to actually go through the soul, go through the narrow path in the soul. Because let me tell you something. Although the soul is very although the mind is dimensional and the soul is universal, and the path of the soul is very narrow. And in that path, everything around it will come up to the surface. Everything around it specifically will shine forth, will shine forth. But in the soul, in the understanding of the living a soul purposeful life, it is a narrow, very path. Because the virtuous teachers in the soul, and when I reference the virtue teachers, I mean the virtue teachers of wisdom, the virtue teachers of patience, the virtue teachers of forgiveness, the virtue teachers of mercy, the virtue teachers of understanding, the virtue teachers of serenity, tranquility, harmony, and the lists go on and on and on, and failure. So all these virtue teachers and patience is going to, and love, and going to take these souls and guide them as teachers of life, because that's what they really are. And they are by means as attributes, as specifically they come from the creator, they come from the higher power, they come from I am, who basically spreaded the creator, spreaded himself, spreaded the creator spreaded itself, and made sure specifically that, I have so much virtue that I have to spread it abundantly. I have to balance it out. I have to make sure that it's enough evenly. And that's why as you continue to go into your soul deeply, not just a quick little meditation, not a quick little pump up amp message. Oh, you're so positive. No, we're not talking about that, because that only lasts, once again, for 60 seconds in a minute. But when you go deeper within your soul every day and night, you're going through a shadow. There are times at midnight that your temple will wake up and it will start to probably cry. It will start to probably pray. It will start to probably meditate. It will start to think and start to be creative, because the soul is going through a shedding process, and once again connected to nature. So as we continue to go through this shedding process, dealing in this beautiful natural template earthly host bodies, we continue to go on a journey of the soul, and that's what we're going to learn a lot much of. So as we continue to learn thyself, I am is continue breaking off, because we're going to have to detoxify from society. I got detoxified 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 from society. And that's real. So when it comes down, as we continue to go through a detoxification process, as we go through a reprogramming, not to control, not to be like robots, but as we go through an understanding, a newer conscience. Every generation, a newer conscience is peeled back, and a newer conscience is rising to the surface, because it's a revolutionary movement, enlightenment that's occurring, and that's happening deeply within the soul. So as we continue to go through the soul, I am continue to lead. Now there will be assistance, there will be angelic help, positive, specific light forces of help, not necessarily dark. Dark will try to actually come into the path of the soul and try to disrupt the soul, try to disturb the soul, try to distract the soul. But in general, light forces will be there to assist, and they only move on the command of the Most High, of the command of the Creator, telling them, this is what I need you to do today. So as you tune into your soul, continue to go through that journey. It's going to be painful. It's going to hurt. It's going to make the temples cry. But guess what? Like a butterfly, once them new wings come out, once the new shedding, once the new insight, once the new understanding, like the birds are chirping right now, everything around, you're going to have an understanding of a sense of not why its creation purpose is existing, but you're going to have a sense to understand how to bond, not to praise it, but how to connect to it, how to walk in harmony with it, how to walk in truth with it. As Yahushua Mashiach say, how to walk and come worship the Most High in spirit and truth. So that's how we're going to continue to tune in. Thank you for your time. I pray that it blesses you soulfully. And I hope that it spread to the four corners of the end of the earth. I hope the animals are blessed. And I hope every natural peace creation get to receive this blessing. Once again, thank you preciously for your time.